kind of shitty quality, but you can see already got the drive shaft out. Working on the transmission right now. Took the inspection cover off. Got the torque converter bolts out. Through the little hole up there. If you know Dodge trucks, you know. Next is I'm working on this shift linkage. So there's a little bracket there on the driver's side frame rail. I believe those are 9/16. There's this bolt, it's 1/2 inch. That's for your shifter. For your automatic, there is that bracket. There's the starter. There's that bracket. And that is an 11/16 nut. There's no head to that bolt. It's welded into the bracket. This here comes out of this. I just used an adjustable pry bar, popped it right out. It's plastic, so be careful. This is your TV cable. That has to get disconnected from the transmission as well. And then we'll go from there. Alright, so I skipped a bunch of stuff. You gotta take out the trans cooler lines. You gotta take out the actual trans cooler, the big tube up there. You gotta make sure that your dipstick does not get caught up. Right along here there's electrical wiring. You gotta take that off. That's for the reverse lights and the, if I can get a picture of it, the neutral safety switch. There's that bracket for the shift linkage. When you take the transmission bolts out, you want to start at the top because those are going to be the hardest ones. You don't want to start at the bottom, get half of them done, and get stuck with just the top one. Do the hardest ones first. You get those done, it'll give you a little bit of encouragement. But I ran this jack. It is an actual transmission jack. It's about 33-inch lift. I put a couple of what are those, probably 5x4s or 4x4s or 6x4s under there. A ratchet strap. I didn't use the pieces that came with the jack just because I do have a ratchet strap and I feel like it's safer. You can make adjustments here as you're coming down to tilt back. And it does come down nice and slow. You do want to make sure that it's coming down nice and slow so that you can make adjustments as it comes down. Once you kind of get it to where it's going to sit okay, it's pretty much going to sit okay. Over here are the bolts for the cross member. They're kind of a pain because the body is sitting right on top. I ended up having to pry them a little bit. They're 5/8 on the bolt side, and I think they're 11/16 on the other side. Just making sure that doesn't get caught up. So I didn't think that I had a rear main seal leak, but based on how much oil I can see, I'm thinking that maybe I do have a rear main seal leak. It's just everywhere. Pretty much every bolt that I took out. As far as I know, this is an original 727. It was a 2-owner truck before me. I don't think there's been any transmission work done. I am the 3rd owner. The 1st owner sold it to first owner. They had it, and then they sold it to their son when the old man died, so he had it for probably, well, until I bought it, which was 2020. So yeah, here she is. She's coming down nice and slow. She wants to tip now. just got a holder. So I'll take this transmission jack back tomorrow to Sunbelt. It was $50. I got the $5 insurance on it in case something gets damaged or it gets stolen. Just peace of mind. You can see I'll likely have a rear main seal leak. I have had leaks on this engine since I bought it, and I knew that when I got into it. But as you can see down there's a bunch of pops junk. But anyways, I'm gonna end it there for the night. Clean up, start again tomorrow. Try and get this transmission off the jack before I throw her back in the Jeep and take her down.
Alright, so here I talked about using some blocks underneath the motor mounts. That did not work. Over the several days that the transmission had been out, the engine continued to sag backwards so much that the fan was kicking out of my modified fan shroud. The engine was tilted back way too far, so I ended up supporting it with a scissor style transmission jack and about 10 to 12 inches of blocks on the oil pan.
So one other note, as you can see, put blocks where the motor mounts were. Go up to the casting, where the motor mounts mount. I wasn't sure if it was really necessary or not, but I thought it might be a good idea, just in case. Right, but look, they're both loose. Pretty sure the motor's fine hanging like that for overnight.
So this is the bracket for the shift lever interlock. You can see where I ground away the rivets. There's park, reverse, neutral, and then here's your 2 and 3, and I believe that down here is your 1 for first gear. So I think first, maybe even second are down here, and then that might be neutral, but there's reverse, there's park.
Here's where I do the rest of the transcooler delete. There's 2 outlets here on the lower radiator hose outlet that go to the transcooler. You need to remove that and you replace it with a 3/4 National Pipe Thread NPT male to female fitting. It's called a street elbow. And you also use a 3/4 to 5/8, 3/4 NPT to 5/8 nipple or barb fitting to go to your heater hose to your heater core. You can find these at Home Depot or online, or a hardware store or a agricultural store.
Alright, so I'm taking out that dreaded coolant pipe that goes into the lower radiator hose adapter. I just used a little bit of PB Blaster and probably 2 minutes of little teeny propane torch to break her free. You can find the adapter, I think you can find them on Amazon. I think I got these in Gaylord, Minnesota. I was out there in the Twin Cities for school. They have a little place called AgroFleet. It's like your hardware farm store, and they happen to have it where I couldn't find it here in Battleground, Washington, at the Ace Hardware or the Wilco. Home Depot might have it, but I wanted to keep the minimum number of connections, so I got the 3/4 and the 3/4 nipple. I'm hoping that nipple is gonna fit. If not, I can go pick up another one, but I'm pretty sure it's the right one. We'll find out here in a couple minutes. And then I just use my Klein spud crescent and some old tire jack handle I found sitting around as a cheater bar. I did have to take the alternator out. Pretty easy. You should know how to do that. Up next is getting that guy out. I was thinking of maybe taking the upper radiator hose casting adapter piece off. That is the 94 and up model, because I put in a intercooled style radiator and 94 and up radiator hose, or 92 up radiator hose, because I put the cross flow radiator in. I went with the Amazon special first. It started leaking down here. I went with the Mishimoto. It started leaking down there. Just got to turn in the warranty information and pay for the shipping, and they're going to send me out a new one. That's the nice thing about Mishimoto, even though it's double the price of the Amazon special. I think I need to redo my radiator mounts. I think that might be part of the problem. I think I needed to put bushings in there. That might be why some vibration that they're leaking, but we'll get to that down the road. Anywho, alright, so you see that hole right there. I think there's actually supposed to be a bolt in there. I might have left it out when I did my AC compressor. But that is the bracket. It goes from the AC compressor to the coolant pipe flange. Here's the fitting I took out. I ended up sawzalling it off. I waited till, because this actually hits that bracket right there. Mine's a non-intercooled truck, so the intercooled guys might not have the same bracket. So if you are doing an auto to manual swap and you do have a non-intercooled truck, consider this. So what I did, see, it normally sits like this, is I turned it as far as I could and then cut it, hoping that that way no metal shavings would get into the coolant pipe. And turned it again and cut it. So there's that. And let's see if I can grab this piece right here really quick. Now I just got to get this piece in there. Another reason to get it with no extra fitting is, look, it'll clear. I believe it's a street, what they call a street elbow. Goes from male to female, so it will clear there. Just to be safe, I did pop the radiator cap. You can see there's coolant flowing out there. It was a little bit of a gusher. There shouldn't be any metal shavings in there for sure now. So I'm gonna put some sealant on this bad boy. I like to use the PTFE pipe sealant. It's really more of a lubricant than a sealant, but it does also seal. And then I'll put the other fitting on, and then I'll tackle that one. Alright, I know a lot of you guys do know how to use wrenches and everything. I know there's some that might not be 100%, but adjustable crescent, this bottom side always goes towards the direction you're tightening. Now if you have to, you can use it this way, but it is designed to go this way. The same is said for the adjustable pipe wrench. The bottom side is always goes towards the way you're turning, whether you're tightening or loosening. Just make sure you're not untightening or unloosening, because that's like backwards. The other thing about the pipe wrench is you want to get it to about the jaws don't fit on when it's like this. You push this back, it'll fit on, and that gives you the biting force. If it fits on like this, fits on when the jaw is all the way forward, when it goes back like this, it's going to be too loose. So just a little tip for you guys. I did get the new elbow in. As you can see, it's not thread all the way in. It doesn't have to be. It is a pipe thread. Pipe threads are tapered. They're meant to seal. Before we had Teflon, also called PTFE, before we had Teflon paste or Teflon tape, they actually used to use an oil or a lubricant, because the real purpose of Teflon tape is as a lubricant, not a sealant, so that you can turn and get the pipe thread tight. Because as you tighten it, it seals because it's a tapered thread. I like to put the goop on just the first couple threads because more likely than not, you are not going to get it all the way down. As you can see, as you screw it in, it's actually gooing out. That lets you know that you have a sufficient amount on there. You don't need to put loads and loads on there. First couple threads, 2-3 threads, make sure it's all the way into the bottom of the threads, wipe it off with my finger, call her a day. Alright, another little known fact about these adjustable crescent wrenches, especially the spuds, is there are metric versions and there are SAE versions. The one I got is a combination, it's SAE and metric. But if you buy the SAE and metric one, just remember, it's only metric on days that start with M. So Monday. Every other day, it's SAE. Sunday, Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's SAE. So if you're going to use it as a metric, you better be using it on Monday. Alright, so there's the 1/2 inch plug you got to do. There's the piece that came out. So I was having troubles. I was using a pipe wrench and it was cracking, so I put a 3/8 bolt in there, or 1/2 inch bolt, or whatever it is. Anyways, find a bolt that fits that and then heat it and use PB blaster on it, and eventually it'll come. What I had to do was take off the thermostat housing. That's the 94 thermostat housing, as I mentioned before. You can see the alternator was already out, and then I had to take this other coolant pipe out so that I could have enough throw on the pipe wrench. So I'm gonna see if I have a different elbow. This one looks pretty old. There should have been an elbow that came off of there, but I think I cut both of them. Usually what I do is if I can't use a screwdriver or a pick to get the hose off and it's really shot, I'll just cut it and I'll buy a new hose, because you know, especially if it's in a hard to find spot. This one's right on top of the engine. I'm probably going to reuse this one and replace it later. I just kind of want to get everything buttoned back up for the cooling system and maybe top her off. But I do have that Mishimoto radiator coming, so I might wait to top her off. Anyways, as you can hear, maybe my Omnipod is going off. Anyways, got that done. I think I'm gonna, since I already have the salt, I think I'm gonna touch this up a little bit, just sand her down. I don't think I'm gonna paint her. I suppose I could paint her, but I don't know. We'll see how I feel after I get it sanded down. I know that there's stainless steel pipes out there for this, but it's not a big worry for me right now. I'm just trying to stay motivated and get everything done I can on the truck before the next job comes up. So I'm gonna clean this up, throw this back together. Yeah, I'll do her.